Eleanor Carter stood frozen in the living room, her hand gripping the phone tightly, heart racing. "Mom, why did Dad do that?" Liam's innocent voice echoed through the room, piercing her like a dagger. His question struck like a thunderclap on a clear day, instantly darkening the atmosphere around her. On the phone screen, a bank notification glared back at her like a curse. Transaction successful, $4,000 withdrawn. Eleanor felt as if someone was squeezing her chest, the air tightening around her. That was money she had painstakingly saved, every penny carefully tucked away for a brighter future for her and Liam after the painful divorce from Daniel. She had thought they could start anew. But now, all that remained was emptiness and fear. Daniel, his name echoed in her mind like a curse, a betrayer she had once trusted. "Mom, is something wrong?" Liam stood at the doorway, his big, worried eyes searching hers. Looking into her son's face, Eleanor felt as if she were teetering on the edge of an abyss, where everything could collapse at any moment. "Liam, please go to your room." "I need a moment." She tried to keep her voice steady, but it trembled like a taut string ready to snap. As the door closed behind him, Eleanor sank onto the sofa, still clutching her phone. Memories flooded back, happy days when their family was whole, joyful dinners filled with laughter as Daniel told funny stories. But now, all of that was gone, dissipated like smoke. The arguments, the hurtful words, and finally, the decision to separate had shattered their lives. She had once believed they could rebuild, but now, Daniel had taken away the most precious thing she had. "Daniel, why did you do this?" Eleanor whispered, tears streaming down her cheeks. She turned to the window, where the afternoon sun filtered through the leaves, casting shimmering patterns on the floor. But in her heart, there was only darkness and confusion. She recalled Martha's warnings, her best friend who had repeatedly cautioned her about Daniel's unreliability. "Eleanor, be careful. He's not trustworthy," Martha had said. But she hadn't listened, she had believed in Daniel's promises. "No, I can't let him get away with this," Eleanor muttered, clenching her fists. She knew she had to act, to protect her rights and Liam's future. But how? She knew nothing about the law and didn't know where to start. A wave of helplessness washed over her, like a tidal wave threatening to sweep away all her hopes. Suddenly, her phone buzzed. An unknown number. Eleanor hesitated but finally decided to answer. "Hello, this is Sophia Martinez, a family lawyer. I heard you're having issues with your ex-husband. I can help you." The woman's voice on the other end was warm yet resolute. A flicker of hope ignited within Eleanor. Perhaps this was the opportunity she had been searching for. "Yes, I need help," she said, feeling a newfound strength rising within her. She knew this battle wouldn't be easy, but for Liam, for their future, she had to stand up and fight. Conflicting thoughts and emotions swirled in her mind, but one thing was certain: Eleanor could no longer live in the shadows. She had to uncover the truth and reclaim what was lost. Her life and Liam's depended on it. And the fight had only just begun. Eleanor sat at the dining table, the light from the chandelier sparkling on her face. But inside, she felt heavy, like a dark shadow was pressing down on her. She had scheduled a meeting with Sophia for that afternoon, and although a wave of anxiety washed over her, determination pushed her forward. "I have to do this for Liam," she told herself. But the fear still loomed silently over her. When Liam burst into the room, his face beaming with a freshly baked cookie in hand, Eleanor couldn't help but smile. "What are you up to?" she asked, trying to keep her voice steady. "I made cookies, Mom. I wanted to throw a little party for you," Liam said, his eyes shining brightly. But her son's innocence twisted Eleanor's heart. "I won't be able to be home much longer," she thought, guilt swelling within her. "Can I help you make some more?" she asked, wanting to savor this moment before the legal battle began. Liam nodded enthusiastically, and they set to work baking together. His laughter filled the air, but in Eleanor's heart, worries and pressures weighed heavily. After dinner, Eleanor decided to call Martha. "Martha, I need to talk. Can we meet?" Her voice trembled as she spoke, as if she were apologizing for not listening to her friend earlier. "Of course, Eleanor. I'll be right over," Martha replied, and within minutes, she was at the door. With her curly brown hair and sharp eyes, Martha had always been the loyal friend Eleanor could rely on. "I heard about Daniel," Martha said, sitting down beside Eleanor. "You can't let him get away with this. But you also have to be careful. He's not someone to take lightly." Eleanor nodded, feeling a wave of fear rise within her. "I know, but I can't let him take everything I've built for Liam. I have to fight." Martha looked directly into Eleanor's eyes. "Are you sure? Do you think Daniel won't retaliate? He could make things difficult for you." "No, I can't live in fear," Eleanor replied, determination lacing her voice. "I need to find out everything about his finances, what he's done with my money." Martha sighed, but her expression was filled with concern. "Okay, but be careful. If he finds out you're investigating, things could get ugly." Eleanor felt as if she were standing on a high mountain, where any misstep could lead to disaster. But she knew she couldn't back down. "I won't let Daniel control my life any longer," she declared with resolve. The next day, Eleanor met Sophia at a small cafe, where the warm atmosphere and laughter from the customers made her feel a bit more at ease. Sophia, with her short hair and professional demeanor, was ready to help Eleanor. "We need to look into Daniel's finances," Sophia said as soon as she sat down. "If he withdrew money from your account, there may be a lot more you don't know." Eleanor nodded, feeling as if a storm was brewing inside her. "I don't know where to start. He might have hidden everything. First, we need to gather all documents related to both of your finances," Sophia replied. "If you can provide information about his job, bank accounts, and any transactions, we can trace the trail." Eleanor felt the anxiety rise again. "I'm not sure I can do that. Daniel will never let me." "You need to find a way. Remember, you're not alone in this fight," Sophia encouraged. "We'll get through this together." But as Eleanor left the cafe, she felt as if she were stepping into an endless battle. She not only had to face Daniel but also the emotions and painful memories from the past. She recalled the happy days, the promises Daniel had made, and now all that remained was betrayal. When she got home, Eleanor opened her computer and began searching for information about Daniel. She rifled through old documents, trying to find any clue that could help her in the upcoming legal battle. She felt like she was diving deep into a murky ocean, where everything could be hidden. But each time she discovered new information, her worry grew. What if Daniel finds out I'm investigating? How will he react, she wondered. She couldn't let Liam witness any more arguments or conflicts between her and Daniel. She didn't want her son to endure any more pain. As night fell, Eleanor lay in bed, her heart heavy. She knew this battle was not just about money, it was about dignity and freedom. She had to find a way to protect her son and reclaim her life. "I won't let Daniel control my life any longer," she whispered to herself, determined not to let anyone stand in her way. In that moment, Eleanor felt a fire igniting within her. She would not give up. She would uncover the truth, no matter the difficulties, to protect their future. The battle had only just begun, and she was ready. Eleanor stood in front of Sophia's office, her heart filled with anxiety and anticipation. She had spent the past week gathering documents, sorting through bank transactions, and researching the investments Daniel had made without her knowledge. It felt like she was standing on the edge of an unavoidable battle. Today will be the day of decision, she told herself, taking a deep breath before pushing the door open and stepping inside. Inside, Sophia was already waiting with a thick stack of documents on the table. "Eleanor," We have some important information to discuss, she said, her tone serious. Eleanor sat down, her heart tightening as she saw the tension in Sophia's eyes. What happened? Eleanor asked, feeling as if a storm was about to hit. We've found some suspicious transactions in Daniel's account, Sophia began, opening the folder and pointing to a page. Large sums of money have been transferred out, and there's no reasonable explanation for this. Furthermore, we've discovered that he opened another bank account that you don't know about. Eleanor felt a jolt of shock run through her. Another account? Why would he do that? She couldn't comprehend it. She had trusted Daniel, believing everything between them was fine. But now everything was crumbling. We need to confront him, Sophia said, her gaze resolute. If we don't, you won't be able to protect your interests and Liam's. Eleanor nodded. But fear surged within her. I don't know if I can do that. He won't take it easily. You have no other choice, Sophia emphasized. This is your only chance to reclaim what is rightfully yours. Eleanor felt as if she were standing at a crossroads, where each decision could lead to unforeseen consequences. She thought about Liam, about her son's future, and about what Daniel might do if he found out she was investigating. I have to do this, she resolved, but her heart was still heavy. As she left Sophia's office, Eleanor felt as if everything around her had become murky. She drove home, her mind racing with thoughts of the upcoming confrontation. What will I say? Where do I even start? Questions swirled in her mind. When she arrived home, Liam was playing in the living room, and his smile was like a glimmer of light in the dark. Mom, can I do something for you? Liam asked, his eyes shining. Eleanor bent down and hugged her son tightly. No, sweetheart, I just need you here with me. She didn't want to worry him, but the fear of what was about to happen made it impossible for her to stay calm. I can't let Daniel hurt you, she thought to herself. As night fell, Eleanor sat on the sofa, her heart racing. She knew that confronting Daniel would not be easy, and she couldn't predict his reaction. What if he gets angry? What if he threatens me or Liam? Negative thoughts haunted her. Finally, her phone buzzed. It was a text from Daniel, we need to talk tonight. Something is wrong. She felt a chill run down her spine. This is it, she told herself, determined not to let Daniel control her life any longer. When the doorbell rang, Eleanor's heart raced. She opened the door to find Daniel standing there, his expression tense and confused. Eleanor. We need to talk, he said, his voice low. Yes, we do, Eleanor replied, trying to keep her voice steady. About what you've done. Daniel stepped inside, his gaze sharp. I don't know what you're talking about. I haven't done anything wrong. Eleanor felt a fire igniting within her. Wrong? You withdrew money from my account. Opened another account that I didn't know about. You've betrayed me, Daniel. She could no longer hold back, her voice thundered. Daniel furrowed his brow, his expression turning angry. You don't understand anything. I did this for my own reasons. You can't just blame me. Blame? You took away everything I built. Eleanor shouted, her emotions boiling over. I trusted you. And now all that's left is betrayal. You don't know anything about me. Daniel yelled, his eyes blazing. You have no idea what I've had to endure. Eleanor felt as if a tidal wave was crashing down on her. I don't care what you've endured. I just want to protect my son. She screamed, every word slicing through Daniel's mind. Your son? You think I would let you hurt Liam? Daniel said, his tone threatening. She felt everything around her crumbling. I won't let you hurt my son, she said, her voice unwavering. I will fight for my rights and Liam's. Daniel sneered, but there was a hint of worry in his eyes. You think you can win against me? I won't let that happen. Eleanor felt as if everything was exploding. I won't let you control my life anymore. I will find the truth, she yelled, filled with determination. As Daniel stepped back, his expression shifted from anger to surprise. You can't do that. I won't let you succeed. Eleanor felt like she was standing on the edge of an irreversible decision. I won't give up. I will uncover the truth, no matter what happens. She swore to herself, her heart brimming with resolve. The scene before her seemed to blur, but one thing was certain. This battle had only just begun, and Eleanor would not stop until she reclaimed what was rightfully hers. She was ready to face everything, not just for herself but for Liam. Eleanor felt as if she were standing on a precarious mountain, where every word she uttered could cause everything to crumble. Daniel's gaze was like a storm, filled with anger and unease. She knew this was not just an ordinary conversation, this was a battle that would determine their fate and Liam's. You can't do this, Daniel said, his voice lowering, as if he were trying to maintain some semblance of calm. You don't understand what you're up against. Eleanor felt a shiver run down her spine. I understand more than you think. I've lived in your shadow for too long. I can't let you continue to control our lives. She emphasized each word, feeling as if every syllable was an arrow aimed straight at Daniel's heart. But if you go too far, you'll lose everything, Daniel warned, his eyes drifting over the framed pictures on the wall, where their happy memories once resided. You'll hurt Liam. Are you sure you want to do that? His question hit her like a punch to the gut. Eleanor felt a wave of guilt rise within her. I don't want to hurt my son, she said, her voice wavering. But she quickly regained her resolve. But I also can't let you keep deceiving me. I have to protect Liam from what you might do. Daniel stepped closer, the distance between them felt like a chasm. So what are you going to do? Are you going to expose me? Do you think people will believe you over me? I've done so much for this family. Family? Eleanor scoffed, feeling a heavy weight pressing on her chest. A family cannot be built on lies and deceit. I can't accept that anymore. Daniel's voice grew harsh, you'll regret this. You don't know who you're messing with. He raised his hand as if to reach for her, but Eleanor stepped back, feeling as if she were standing before a wild animal. Don't touch me, she shouted, a mix of fear and anger swirling within her. I'm not afraid of you anymore. They stood there, the air thick with tension, each staring into the other's eyes. In that moment, Eleanor saw the fear, insecurity, and even desperation reflected in Daniel's gaze. But she also saw something else, his pride and determination not to give up. You might win this battle, but you will lose the most precious things, Daniel said, his voice sounding like a foreboding prophecy. I won't let you walk away easily. Eleanor felt a chill run down her spine. I won't let you hurt my son. I will find the truth, no matter what happens. She swore to herself, her heart brimming with determination. But in that moment, a question suddenly appeared in her mind. Is the truth worth it if it means my son has to suffer? She felt as though she were standing at a crossroads, where every decision could change their lives forever. Daniel looked at her, his eyes a deep pit, holding secrets she had never wanted to uncover. Do you really think you can do this alone? You have no one by your side. Eleanor felt everything around her crumbling. I have Sophia. I have friends. I'm not alone. She replied, but inside, anxiety began to rise. Was it enough? Then let's see what happens, Daniel said, his tone a challenge. I won't give up easily. You'll see. Eleanor felt as if a tidal wave was crashing down on her, but she also knew she could not turn back. I won't give up, she said, her voice resolute. I will fight for Liam and for myself. As Daniel turned to walk out the door, Eleanor felt a part of her shatter. Have I done the right thing? Do I have the strength to face what's coming? She wondered, her heart filled with worry and anticipation. The door closed, and in the moment of silence, Eleanor stood there, feeling as if she had just stepped into an unavoidable war. She knew the road ahead would be fraught with challenges, but one thing was certain, she would not give up. She would uncover the truth, not just for herself but for Liam. And in her mind, one question lingered, haunting her like a shadow: can the truth save them, or will it only bring more pain? Eleanor stood by the window, sunlight streaming through the trees outside, casting dancing patterns of light and shadow on the floor. She gazed out, watching life go on, the cars passing by, the children laughing in the nearby park. Her mind was still in turmoil after the confrontation with Daniel. Yet now, as she looked at the world outside, a sense of peace began to wash over her. She reflected on everything that had happened, the angry words exchanged and the truth that had been unveiled. She realized that her battle with Daniel was not just about protecting herself and Liam. It was also a journey of self-discovery. She had once believed that love could conquer all, but now she understood that true love encompasses forgiveness and the ability to accept mistakes. Eleanor recalled the moment she faced Daniel when everything seemed to fall apart. She had felt fear, but also a strength she had never known before. She had decided not to let fear control her life any longer. "I can do this," she told herself, and in that moment, she felt as if she had broken free from the shadows of her past. But now, with everything settling down, she had to confront a bigger decision: could she forgive Daniel? She knew this was not simple, not just because of what he had done, but also because of how she felt. Love cannot only exist in beautiful memories, it must also endure pain, hurt, and betrayal. Eleanor decided she would not let negative emotions dictate her life. She couldn't change the past, but she could shape the future. She wanted Liam to grow up in an environment filled with love and forgiveness, not one filled with hatred and resentment. She needed to set an example for her son, showing him that forgiveness does not mean forgetting, but rather accepting and moving forward. She sat down at the table and wrote a letter to Daniel. The words flowed from her heart, each line filled with pain but also hope. She wrote about her feelings, her sorrow, and disappointment, but also about the love she still had for him, even though it had been wounded. "I can't forget what happened," she wrote, "but I also don't want to live in misery. I want us to find a way to move forward, for Liam, for ourselves." When the letter was finished, Eleanor felt a sense of relief. She didn't know how Daniel would react, but at least she had expressed her true feelings. She placed the letter in an envelope, deciding to send it to him the next day. In the following days, Eleanor focused on herself and Liam. She took him to the park, participated in activities with friends, and sought ways to rebuild her life. Although it wasn't easy, she felt a sense of growth within herself. She learned to love herself, and that helped her view everything from a different perspective. One afternoon, while playing with Liam, she realized that love does not only come from holding on to beautiful memories, it also comes from the ability to accept imperfections. She looked at her son, seeing the bright smile on his little face. "I will do everything for you," she whispered, her heart filled with determination. Finally, one morning, Daniel called her. His voice sounded different, devoid of the anger or challenge that had characterized their previous conversations. "Eleanor," he began, "I read your letter. I'm very sorry. I was wrong. I don't know how to fix everything, but I want to start over." Eleanor felt a wave of emotion rise within her. "I don't know how everything will turn out," she replied, "but I want to try. Not for us, but for Liam." The conversation continued, both sharing their emotions, their sorrows, and their hopes. They couldn't go back to how things were, but they could learn how to move forward together. Eleanor realized that forgiveness was not just an act, but a process. And through that process, she had grown, stronger than before. As the call ended, Eleanor felt as if a weight had been lifted. She no longer felt bound by the past, but rather embraced a new hope for the future. She knew the road ahead would not be easy, but at least she was ready to face it. In that quiet moment, with the sunlight streaming into the room, Eleanor felt one thing: love and forgiveness are the most precious gifts we can give each other. She had learned that, despite the challenges life presents, as long as there is love and patience, everything can be overcome. Finally, she looked out the window, where the children were still playing, and wondered, can we build a brighter future? One where love and forgiveness guide our steps? She knew the answer would lie in the decisions she and Daniel would make in the time to come. But one thing was certain. Eleanor was ready for new challenges, and she was no longer afraid to step into life with an open heart.